सतनाम श्री वाहेगुरु साहिब जी। गोबिंदे मुकंदे उदारे अपारे, हरियं करियं निर्नामे अकामे। गोविंदे मुकंदे उदारे अपारे, हरियं करियं निर्नामे अकामे। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। So, Maharaj Kirpa, we are going to be discussing about in the next Salok is basically Maharaj explains further about the Vedant and the Vedas. So even in Pai Gurdas Ji's Vara, he has explained about Gurmat. So for those who don't know what Pai Gurdas Ji's Vara are, they are basically the key to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, to the whole Gurbani. Because sometimes it is hard to understand the message directly through the Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj or Sarabloh Maharaj. So Pai Gurdas Ji Vara explains the Gurbani a little bit more simplified way, using different vocabulary as well. And it is known as key to the Gurmat, to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. So further, it's going to be explained how Gurmat and Vedant are collaborated and how Gurmat includes Vedanta as well. So it's not like we are reading something different thing than Gurmat. If we are reading this Granth, it doesn't mean we are not reading about Gurmat or we're not understanding Gurmat. They both have the same essence. So as we have previously understood as well, that the Brahma, the Paramatma, first created Ishwar, and then the Ishwar created the Jagat, the whole samsar, and he created the Jeev as well. But in reality, there is no difference between them. The Ishwar, the Jeev, the Brahm, Parbrahm, they are one and the same only. And they look different because of the form, because of the different labels. The names are given based on the form. Somewhere it's looking like a female, it's in a female body, somewhere it's in a male body, somewhere as animals, in different all these forms. And who give our name to us? It is our parents. Based on the society, the name is given. So it all looks different because of all these labels, but it is the Atma only, there is one Atma only in everywhere. It's Atma only taking the Sargun form. Now, the person who has attained Brahm Gyan, the Brahm Gyani are those who know about the Brahm. So they themselves, they don't have any Maryada. And what is the purpose of the Maryada? It is to conquer the mind. Because the Brahm Gyani has already conquered their mind, they no longer need it. Because their mind is already still. So what Maryada does is, the function of Maryada is to conquer the mind, to make it still. Because there needs to be certain rules to train the mind. It's like, take an example of training a dog, right? So you put the leash on the dog, and when eventually you slowly use that leash to guide the dog, to a point that one day, when you take the leash of the dog, he won't do anything, even if he's free. He knows there is no leash around his neck. Yet he won't wander around. Why? Because he's already trained in that way. And this is the mind of Brahmagyanis. The mind is so still that it does not wander around. They stay in the Atmavastha. So there is no bondage as well for them. But why do the Brahmagyani appear in a Maryada? They will still appear in wearing certain types of clothes, doing Arti, Artha, doing everything like everyone else is doing. It's going to be discussed a little bit later on. They don't need this because they're already mukt, but still there is a reason why they do it. So Maharaj says that the karam that are mentioned in the Ved, so karam is like actions. There are certain set rules of actions that should be performed. And even the Jnani, the Brahmgyanis do the same actions too. And as we just discussed, that why do the Brahmgyani, they do certain types of actions? Why do they follow the Maryada? Because when the Brahmgyani is in that avastha of Brahm, in Atam Sarup, in the Atam state, the people around him doesn't know that because they are looking at the physical appearance. They can't see the mind of the Brahmgyani. Or to them, they don't know that there is no mind as well in there. So Brahmgyani does such actions so that they can be a good role model for others. So the others can obviously see them and do the same actions as well. But the Brahmgyani themselves they don't need to do any particular type of action. They don't need to do any karam, upasana, any type of worship. But they still do it. They will do the same puja, same arti, arta, everything. So that those looking at the Brahmgyani or doing the sangat of them, they can reach that Gyan Khand. So Gyan Khand is like a chapter. Now remember, these are the states of spirituality. Let's call it stages of spirituality. The Gyan Khand is where there is only Gyan. Even in Japji Sahib, Maharaj Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj explains about all the different Khand as well. And why is that we need to do the Upasana? Because without doing that, the Upasana of the Sargun, the physical manifested, we cannot know the Nirgun. How can we know something that has no form without understanding the form first? So that's why it is important to do that. Now, there are different ways of doing Karam Kand, such as you must have seen, as or you do as well, Arti, Arta, Havan, Nitnem. Even doing Nitnem, doing Panjabaniya or whatever amount, it is a form of Karam Kand. Unless we do this, the mind does not become pure. So, in order to make the mind pure, to make the mind still, to remove its impurity, and that impurity are the vikars and the home. So, these karam kand are important. So, when a Sikh comes to the Guru, in today's form, it is Tan Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, Dasam Granth Maharaj, Sarabloh Granth Maharaj. So it's not like the Guru is giving Gyan to the Sikh directly. Because first of all, the Antekaran, which is the subtle mind, the Man, Buddhi, Chit, Ahankar, these needs to be purified. Because without the purification of this, the Agyanta doesn't go then. So it is only very slowly and steadily that it is removed. And this happens in very Sahaj as well. There is no one particular day, one exact moment where one can say that the mal of Antekaran gets removed. It happens in so subtle that one can only experience it. So Maharaj says in Agyan Avastha to do the Shubha Karam. And these are the example of doing Arti, Arta, Havan, doing prayer, Ardas. So these are different examples of doing that. And what happens when we do this? the emotions, the rag. So the rag are the emotions that the mind experiences. So the emotions are aroused. But because there are emotions there, the Sikh is thinking about that he is the Sikh, then there is Guru, and then there is the Shabad. The Shabad is the words that we use to read part, to do Ardas. But because of Agyanta, we see them separately, that there is one Sikh, one Guru, one Shabad. But even though in doing this, there is some sort of Anand. The Sikhs still experience the Anand in this. And this Anand is different to the things when they are going at work. They don't experience the same Anand. So when they do all the Karam Upashana, they experience this Anand. They spend more time with the Guru. So that's why one should not do the tyag of these actions, these karam, upasana. And this is important, especially when there are people around, because it can create a very bad role modeling for the others. They don't know what's happening in the mind of the Brahmgyani. So it is very important to still continue doing the same actions that they were doing in Agyanta, the same way of doing worshipping, the same upasana. That's why Maharaj says as well, Shubh Karmante Kabhuna Taru. That even if I am in the Atamavastha, I don't need to do any actions, but may I still not forget how to do those. May I still continue to do the Shubh actions, the good actions. But one must not get attached to these as well. So Kaviji explains. Now, here Kaviji explains about different ways of explaining the most uttam things. What are some of the highest things to do, or there are actually? Maharaj says there is no better form of birth than that of a human being, and human body is the most important. And why is that? Because that is the only way one can attain Atmavastha. That's why Maharaj says, Gobind Milan ki e teri bariya. This is your chance to know, to meet, to become one with the Gobind. And there is no bigger taram than Naam Japna. Naam is the most uttam one. Tantan Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj in Gurbani says, Sarva Dharma mein Shrestha Dharma. Har ko Naam Jap Nirmal Karma. That there is no taram greater than Naam Japna. And there is no higher caste than reading the Gyan and teaching others as well. There is no higher ashram than Gristi. Now, there are different ways of living in the world. Few are like sannyasi, Gristi, Banprasth. So, in reality, in Adhyatam Marg, Naam is the only important one. So, if one is sannyasi, Gristi, no matter wherever they are, if they are in Naam, that is the most uttam form. However, still, when we talk from Maya perspective, the Gristi is considered the most uttam. And the reason is because even a sannyasi person goes to a Gristi to ask for food and clothes. And it is the Gristi who gives janam to the next life form as well. That's why in worldly way, the Gristi is considered as to be the highest one. Now, there is no higher addiction than that of good actions. See, good and bad actions are just a basic very nature. It becomes the nature of who you are as a person. If one is doing more good actions, they naturally start doing that more often. That becomes so natural to you. To them, it's not even good action. But to the sansar, they are the good actions. So there is no higher addiction than doing the good things. And Kaviji says that there is no impurity like that of the impure actions. And that's also because if one does bad deeds or like impure actions, they remember that for rest of their life. Maharaj says there is no bigger illusion than that of Maya. And how does it happen? How does the illusion happen? Because of the attachment. So we get attached to a friend, a family, and then we start being so attached to that one form, one person in the family or friend, that we forget Paramatma. There is still duality there. So sometimes in that attachment, we don't even want to talk about going towards Adhyatam Marg. There is no greater doctor than the Guru. And remember, what is Guru? Guru is the Gyan. And why is that? Why there is no better doctor in the whole entire world than the Guru? Because the Guru is the one who takes away the disease of home, the Param. And the most Uttam Vichar, any discussion, the most highest form of knowledge out there is the of Atma. It is the Gyan only that eradicates the Agyanta. And what is the biggest disease? It is the Agyanta. So if sometimes, let's say if a Gyani says to someone that, you should do bhakti, you should do a little bit of research or do khoj, like Mara says, bande khoj dil har roz. You should do this, a little bit of, research about it, about within yourself, who you are, of prem bhakti. The person will say, I am doing it, I do these many parts, I read all these books, like I'm doing all that. But when you see the same person, when the dukh comes, they become sad. And when there is some kind of sukh, they become extremely happy. Now, the truth is, why does this happen? The truth is that that person is not honest within himself. They say that yes, they're doing all the checklist. Yes, I'm doing everything in here, but still they're not in the state of equilibrium. So equilibrium is the avastha of sahaj. That's how we can understand the sahaj avastha in English. And that sahaj is when there is no thoughts in the mind, or when the mind is absolutely still. That is the avastha of sahaj. So even if this person is verbally saying that I'm doing everything, still he's getting affected by the dukh and the sukh in life. So this is to check the honesty just within ourselves, that how honest truly we are within ourselves. Maharaj says there is no greater bhagat than the mind. And why is that? Because even if we are physically doing things, it is the mind actually that's doing the bhakti. The whole Gurbani, the Gurmantar, any mantar, everything is for the mind. It's not for the Atma. The Atma doesn't need this. It's the mind that needs it. So there is no highest bhagat in anywhere than the mind. And there is no better friend than that of a good buddhi. Because no matter wherever you go, in any country, in any state, no matter wherever you are sitting, it is the good buddhi, the sharp, the gurmat, the buddhi that knows the truth, that is going to be your best friend. And this buddhi never leaves you. It's called the Vivek Buddhi as well. So this is the most truest friend, if you have to understand in that way. And there is no better temple than the body, because the Brahm resides in it. Now we can only know the Brahm, Paramatma, through the body. That's why this is the most Uttam temple. If we haven't understood the Brahm in this body, no matter we go to Gurdwara, any temple, any church, it's very hard to see Paramatma in there. If one has to see Paramatma, it has to be from the body. Because Jo Brahmande Soi Pinde, whatever is out in the universe, it's already within this body. Now, what is the difference between De and Dehi? So, Dehi is that to which the body belongs. And because this body belongs to the Atma, that's why Atma is called the Dehi. And Deh is the body. And there is no bigger Devta than the Atma. Now, how to understand this? It is because of the Atma that everything functions even in this body. So Devta is someone who gives ahar, who gives nourishment to the body or to others. Yeah. So Atma is the biggest Devta, because if Atma did not exist, it is all Suna Samadha then, right? There is no form there. Hanji. So Maharaj says that to Sikh that, hey pyare Sikh, now understand this very well, that the Tatsar is the essence of all the Vedant, and apply it in your life. See yourself in everyone and everyone in yourself. So in Gurbani, Maharaj says, Khalik, Khalak, Khalak mein Khalik, Pure Rahyo Sarab Thain. That whatever is in the universe, out in the sansar, it's the Paramatma, and whatever is within you, as you, is Paramatma. It's not like Paramatma is outside or just within or the other way around. It's everywhere, and in it, everything exists. So, but what happens in reality? Sometimes we see ourselves as the center of everything, as if the whole world revolves around us. But Gurmat and Vedant is clearly telling us that you have to see yourself in the world and the world in you. It's not like life is happening to you. The life is happening as you. So, Kaviji Maharaj says to Sikh that there are thousands and millions of Granths that are being written, that have already been written by so many different poets, and they have done such a beautiful job. But hey, Pyare Sikh, I have explained you all those Granths in brief here. In this Adhyatam Prakash Granth, I have explained all the million thousand Granths. The Char, Ved, the Simratis, everything. Even if there will be thousand more, million more Granths in the future, I have explained the same thing here as well again. That how the Jeev is one with the Ishwar, Ishwar is one with the Sansar and Brahman. They all taking one form, taking so many different forms. And I have explained this in very simplified way here. Now, Maharaj, as we know that we are reading this Granth here, let's be 100% sure about this, that after if someone from here reads this Granth and applies it in the life, so fully understanding it, applying in the life, doing practice of it, they will never need to read anything further than this now. There will be no any other Granth out there, maaf karna, not even Gurbani, that you need to read. Because this is the Gyan that is the highest form of Gyan that is being explained in simplified way. They all discuss about the same thing. So this doesn't mean that you don't need to, if you have interest, definitely by all means, you can do that. Or if, just to spend some time. But there is no requirement that you have to do it now. But if you haven't understood, then definitely, if the Anupa Prakash, the experience of it hasn't happened yet, then definitely one should keep reading more so that the impurity of the mind, the home can be removed. So that once the experience happens, then that is pretty much no need for further, reading about anything. So Kaviji Maharaj explains through an example of, let's say there is a huge mountain of salt, and you are at your home, you ran out of salt, and you want to do cooking. So what do is you go to that mountain, you grab a little bit of salt in a small container, because you just need a little bit, just that amount for the cooking purpose. And obviously, in reality, you wouldn't grab the whole mountain because your need is just that little small container. Same way, all the Granths, they are all the same. Now, Maharaj Kripa, I have come across Quran, Bible, English, like even personally, I like reading English stuff, books more as well. Even Gurmat, Gurbani. And as I was reading it, one thought kept coming again and again that, oh my God, this is Gurmat, this is Gurmat, this is Gurmat. To me, it just appeared as Gurmat. Even if it wasn't Gurbani, it was still Gurmat because the Gyan is the same. So no matter how many Granths are there, it's going to give you the same Gyan. It's not going to be anything different that one Granth is going to suddenly talk about something else. So Maharaj says that do Bhakti of Sargun to understand the Nirgun. All the Granths talk about this. Even the Quran, Bible, they talk about how to conquer, to rise above the Panchachor, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Sometimes it's given different names, but this is the basic gist of it. And if we have accepted and applied the Gyan, then we will cross over the world easily. But if we use the same Gyan and increase the Ahankar, the home, then there is absolute no use of reading. There is no point of even teaching anyone because there is no actual benefit coming out of it. And what's going to happen? It's going to be more burden on the heart. The Gyan can actually become a very heavy burden as well. And what is the use of such Gyan then? I think Maharaj in Gurbani says as well, kya padhiye, kya guniye, kya ved purana suniye. Pade sune kya hoi, jo sahaj na milyo toi. that what is the use of even reading, listening, doing all the part if you're gonna ultimately end up increasing the ahankar that I know this. The gyan is to give you the mukti. So Kaviji next says that take that which you are supposed to know while being in this human body, you have known it now. That don't wander around reading different books, because in a way what you're doing is you're giving your mind the reassurance that did I understand it properly? That is the only thing that's happening. It's like, striking the mind with different form of dialogues, different stories, just so that the mind can finally accept that can be accepted in one sentence. मन तू ज्योत स्वरूप है अपना मूल पहचान. This Granth has explained all that. Even if you're reading other Granth, that's absolutely fine, but let's not have an expectation that there's going to be any additional information, because it's going to be the same Gyan as well. Now, Maharaj will explain in the next Saloks, in the next class, about what other Granths actually say as well. To give a bit of a tatsar, that just to make the Sikh, to have a little bit, there is curiosity that what else is out there, just to get rid of that curiosity as well. Kaviji Maharaj explains to us about that what they actually cover, which we will discuss later. But Maharaj, this is the second last class, and Maharaj Kirpa, one more class, and we will do Samapti of this Granth. So, Maharaj Kirpa, that we apply this in life and get rid of the home. ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ